All right, we're going to talk about the oxygen tank so that everyone understands not to be afraid of this or when to be afraid of it. We now have these new turbine looking things that are attached. The goal of this is to decrease or hopefully completely eliminate any of the frost or freeze that you might see or have seen previously at the top of the tank. So every liquid oxygen tank, this is our primary oxygen source for the oxygen tank, oxygen cages in the ICU. These are our backup oxygen. These are true compressed gas cylinders. This is liquid oxygen. Liquid oxygen will often show you a freeze line somewhere on, a frost line somewhere on that. That indicates, it's not intentional, but the benefit shows you how full the tank is. It will freeze where the liquid is changed to gas. Sometimes you'll see it frozen on the top, around the valves, just a thin layer of frost. That's nothing to be concerned of. You have your primary line that comes into your hospital. For us, it now goes through this turbine system, and the turbine system again is to try to eliminate or at least decrease any freezing frost over. It still goes through this, comes out the other side, and goes into a meter that when oxygen is off, that this right here, which is awkwardly placed where you can barely see it, is at 0 and should maintain at 0 until you've turned on your tanks. If you think you're having gas go into your oxygen tanks in there, your oxygen cage in ICU, this has to register pressure in order to get and maintain pressure in there. So liquid oxygen, primary source for getting it into those cages. This does not flow into surgery. Surgery is a separate unit. It is in the corner of the operating room. It is a compressed gas green cylinder. It is separate and not part of this video. This is liquid oxygen. It has four primary valves or knobs that you're going to open or close, or that have the potential to be opened or closed, only 2 of which you will mess with. On this particular tank, they're labeled liquid, which is what connects to the building and provides us the oxygen. There's one called pressure building, which I have seen on previous tanks. It'll be called mixer or mixing. These are the 2 that you care about that you will alter. Liquid simply means you're opening up this is the on-off from the tank to the building. This changes the amount of liquid to gas mixing that can be done. So it always has to be some open, but if you are not demanding enough oxygen in there, then it will continue to make as much as you've told it to mix. And if you're not demanding enough in there, it will start to blow off oxygen out here, which is where people get the scary oxygen sound and they're worried about why is it doing that. That is blowing out on this backside labeled vent, which is the first safety feature that exists on a liquid oxygen tank. The vent means that too much too quickly is being made, not enough is being demanded, and the tank must either explode or vent. It's going to vent. It's the first of 2 safety features. The second one is this blue, sometimes they're yellow, safety cap. It is bolted down and it is protecting the internal valve. If the vent on the side is venting, this means, pay attention to me, decrease the mixing. I don't need to make this much oxygen. I see that happen all the time. If this blows, you evacuate the hospital. I've never seen it happen. I've never even heard of it happening. But it's your double safety feature, and something went way wrong if this is blown. So this is not a machine to be afraid of. It's just a machine to be respectful of, or it's an equipment to be respectful of. If it's venting oxygen into the atmosphere, it's making it too quickly. So either you have turned it off inside and forgotten to turn it off at the tank, or you're not having high enough pressure in there and you're asking it to make a lot more here than you're actually using. So nothing's on inside. I get a critical patient that needs oxygen. I come outside. The pet is inside. I come outside to this tank. My doors are closed to my oxygen kennel. I come out to this tank. I check what that pressure says. It should say 0. I turn on my liquid label, which is connected to a hose in the turbines, and then I turn on my mixer. Now, with every time, me personally, I'm going to turn it all the way open and check about how many turns that is, and then I may initially have it open fully to get my chamber inside pressurized, but then I'm going to decrease my mixer down to about half, and I may play with it based on how often you're opening the doors with your patient, how often if you're seeing pressure issues, you increase the mixer. The only reason you need less mixing is if If the mixer's on too high, it's going to be venting to room air. So you're wasting your oxygen and little dollar bills are floating through the atmosphere. So that's where you tweak how much you're making versus how much you're using. This is either on or off. There's no halfway with this. You turn it all the way on because you need it in the building. The mixer is adjusted based on demand, which is evaluated based on maintaining pressure in there and whether or not it's venting out here. That's the oxygen tank.